What's up again, everybody? I was actually holding back on making this video because, well, the title, right? I was gonna call it Mayonnaise Man, but then I'm like, oh shit. Probably think I'm talking about the white boys, Jazzlene's roster. No, I gotta talk about the male mayonnaise or men mayonnaise or man mayonnaise. I think male mayonnaise is probably like the best title I can go with, considering, what we're dealing with around the world right now. So I think people have become so cold and so used to the status quo that any form of betterment, whether it's for a foreign group of people or for the world in general, is seen as, and I'm specifically referring to Iran, but like you could extend it to Venezuela, you could extend it to the Middle East in general, any country, Russia, any country. You just think to yourself, well, if we bother them, and they're gonna bother us, but if we don't bother them, then they won't bother us. Type of situation. And how much longer do you want to live your life like that, right? Like I dog on like the Jews and shit, specifically guys around my age, about not going back to Israel and helping them fight in that war and stuff against Hamas, and then the inevitability of it is like, and we gotta like figure out like where this all comes from. So in the beginning, there was this guy who was homosexual. There's nothing really wrong with it, but like when you live that closeted life and the people who know about it are the ones who are closest to you, like the people who have your kids, the people who are like, who are your closest associates, people who you party with, people who, you tour with, this and that. And it's kind of like this crazy ass thing where I don't think the world was ever gonna be ready for two black artists of such prominence to both come out as gay like that, you know? Because like I said, like in the past, and there was like a bunch of people, even Pharrell came out, right? A bunch of people started like doing these like weird ass types of behaviors and shit. But then like every single time they get called on it, it's like they don't know how to walk it back. They don't know how to explain themselves, and the best explanation that is given is violence. I'm going to be violent towards you. I'm going to antagonize you. I'm going to demean you, rather than, serve any form of explanation or anything, just nothing. And when you had guys like this, especially in the past, who were basically gay people who hated other gay people, or hated the idea that their sexual preference was not only like basically mocked and insulted at large, but it also gave away this like realization that like there's a lot more of these guys out there than you realize, right? Like we're finding out about this whole Lakari situation. There's a lot more guys like him that are out there. Like you think it's just Vosh, it's just like this guy, it's just that guy, and like you have these like very long and drawn out internet videos about individuals and their sexual proclivities, and like the outrage basically formed around their whole basically persona being uplifted by their own actions, if you will. And we have to also illustrate the whole movements, right? Whether it's left or right, the red pill, the black pill. Let me just talk and like give my very very brief explanation to the black pill, because I figured out what the black pill is. The black pill is like the self-realization that you're never going to be able to love people who will love you back, whether it's heterosexual or homosexual, and then you form like antagonistic thoughts towards it with no form of reprieve or relief. You're just like, okay, the world's going to shit. You know, men and women ain't shit. I don't love anybody. I'm going to like laugh and like enjoy the suffering of others because that Schadenfreude or whatever you want to call it, or the Germans call it, is like so much more palatable to living my life rather than to make myself suffer for like the increments, right? Um, I don't. I'm getting a little uh like on a weird off-putting thing, but like I've done enough mushrooms to realize that like if you were to really calculate like how much you have to work out to get those actual muscles, like the natural ones, like you really have to put the work in, right? And then on top of that, there's the whole aspect of once you do that and you're in the anabolic phase, you're basically aging yourself rapidly to the point where you're going to shave off at least 5 to 10 years, at least. But is it worth it, right? Like the whole aspect of like how you rationalize and like how you would ratio your life, right? Like, okay, you say to yourself, well, some people say to themselves, you know, life is short. I'm just gonna like do what I can when I can, right? And they just live life in the fast lane and maybe they die in a car accident or you know skydiving or just like doing something that they love or like you know whatever but they end up losing their life in the pursuit of happiness, if you will, or you know their usual, you know, it could just be like a surfing accident or just like something normal, at least for them, and then it just winds up to be like bad and ends their existence. But again, like the thrill seekers, the people, the adventurers, like there's really nothing separating them between them and us. It's just that they got unlucky and we haven't yet, right? But then there's like people who very much fit the bill, and like I always had like in the past, I always had a thing against calling people NPCs. Excuse me, mostly because it's like it's very demeaning and then whatever. But then once I started getting into like the whole aspects of like you know cultural nuances and labels and this and that, I started to realize that like yeah, a lot of people are very much like that. They very much are like that. Like a point I want to bring out before I start getting into like the whole funny red pill shit is this lady in Minneapolis, right? And I don't know what she was doing. Like she was just like on some vigilante hunting, headhunting mission against ICE. And there's just a guy, and he's like some YouTuber and shit. And I think he's, excuse me, also anti-ICE. But he's just like sitting there in his car, you know, recording and shit, recording ICE, right? And then he has like a mannequin in the passenger, like the front passenger seat, like it's very visible. Um, so this lady who's clearly, you know, uh, aforementioned NPC walks up to him and like asks, "Are you law enforcement? Are you this? Are you that?" And it's just like constantly antagonizing him and this and that because it's like she just comes out of nowhere and starts knocking on his window and stuff. It's the weirdest shit. And I realized that like even though I think personally that dehumanizing people and like referring to them and not like seeing their potential is a bad way about going about things, whatever. It is actually pretty intelligent. There are practical uses to this. Like if you didn't have to consider that this person was this mentally deranged to like think that you know this person is law enforcement, you know, obviously he isn't, and then she comes back and then like starts like getting in an argument with him, calls him a cuck or some shit like that, and I'm just like, what is this? What is this? And it brings me back to that one lady, right? I don't know where this was, maybe like California, San Francisco, some shit like that. It isn't no, San Francisco is in California. My bad. Um, but like she sees two ducks mating, and then she like goes up to them in the like, and they're like swimming and stuff in the fountain, right, where all the water is, and she's like going up to them. It's like, hey, get away from her, get away from her, hey, hey. And it's the craziest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, if I've ever seen a woman who did that, like that is 100% guaranteed crazy. Like there's no talking me out of it. Like you're gonna see me around this person, and I'm just going to like pause what I'm saying and just like consider my surroundings, and then as soon as I get the opportunity, I'll just like leave. There's nothing to be gained from interacting with a person like this. But like, what am I getting at? Well, you see, much like that lady who yelled at that duck to like get away from her, like a lot of times, guys do the same thing, except, they just do it to each other just like casually and shit. Like if you hang out with guys like a lot, right? Well, if you're a guy, you're gonna hang out with guys. It's not, it's natural. But like sometimes, and you don't notice it, especially when you're younger, they will prevent you from being with members of the opposite gender, or like, make you look bad in front of them, or this or that. And you play it off as like, maybe they're nervous or maybe they're like whatever, but then like they have this like burning hatred of you, right? This burning hatred of you. So what am I getting at? Um, when Andrew Tate lost the fight, and he was explaining away the reasons why he lost the fight, and he had his black eyes and the marks, whatever. I remember specifically, he did it twice, right? So one time he did it at this like press conference, and in front of whatever, he's just sitting down on a bench, whatever. People are just like taking his picture, asking these questions, and he's just like, I'm 40 years out. I'm 40 years old. 40 years old. 5 years out, or 8 years out, or some shit like that, because he hasn't fought in that long. And he's just like making all these excuses. And then the second time he did it, he was with his brother, and I believe he was on his personal podcast. If not, it was just some weird just like thing where they're just like asking him the same questions or whatever. And he exact same response. 40 years old, this is this, da 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 da. I was in a Romanian prison, blah blah blah. And the look on his brother's face, the look on his brother's face was priceless. The bubble bursted. The bubble bursted, and yo, man's be listening to my channel, dog. I got some people commenting on my last video because they're probably thinking about like, it was something else when it wasn't. I was just like quoting Hassan and just like styling on the guy. They probably thought I was talking about some other shit. And like, they're sending people's at me, right? It's like to like, save face, because so this is what happens, right? It's like some club in Miami or something. I mean, the boys, right? Andrew Tate, his brother, um, that guy who yelled at that girl on the podcast, who got like bitched out by that guy and told her to shut the fuck up or some shit like that. And there's like a lot of them. It's to the point where you gotta be like specify which one, which one. I'm like, okay, well, the one that hangs out with Andrew Tate. How about that? And it's like, which one? Oh, damn it. God damn, I don't know. I don't know these guys. Who else? Clavicular. Clavicular. That guy. Oh shit, eh? The guy who like run over, he kills a man, and like I don't know, he's out. He's chilling. Sneeko. Who else? Who else? Oh, and Myron Gaines, obviously. For some reason, Fresh wasn't there. It was just Fit. Just Fit. And my bad, my bad. How could I forget? Nick Fuentes. Nick the Fuentes. Fuent. Fuent. Cat boy. Okay, so this is how it like. I gotta break it down. This is how it went down, right? Man's going to the club. They're meeting up with each other before they hit up the VIP, and then they're all listening to that song by Kanye West called "Heil Hitler." I haven't actually heard it yet. It was just like, whatever, right? You know, outrage for the sake of outrage. So it's just like, all right, cool. It's your fucking YouTube channel. You guys are like pro Islam, pro Muslims, this that, and like it's better that you guys accept the love of men. You see Nick Fuentes, it's like clavicular's coming up to us like, yo, let me bring some girls over. And Nick's like, nah, maybe you shouldn't. A bunch of other gay stuff. But then I don't understand. You're out in public, Miami no less, and you have to be like, you know. And the guy's like younger than me. He's not 40. He's actually 39. But like you know what I mean. Like I think he's like, if he's not the oldest person, that other guy who's like who told the girl to shut up on the podcast, he's a stupid bitch or some shit like that. He's the oldest guy, but like you know what I mean. Like there's they're old ass guys. They're dressed in fitted suits, fitted. You know what I mean? And why the fuck are you in a club then? It's like, yo, this is how pathetic these men are. These male mayonnaise, man. Just like this idea that like you're something that you think that you are, but instead you're just like this guy, this jerk off, this wad, this like waste, right? And we're finding out like a lot of guys are like this, like you got Hassan, you got especially iDubbbz, you got Vosh, you got his whole like fucking movement basically. I forget, what was his name again? Something the Black? Some guy the Black. It doesn't really matter, he doesn't matter anymore. He never mattered. But then you got, Lakari here, who, is very much on the side of, I guess mainstream. And then as you start to realize something, it becomes woefully apparent that as a man, there is no way out other than pain. You have to give it to yourself before it comes to you, and you wind up like these guys who are just basically broken people. Like they're broken. Like the fact that Andrew Tate couldn't handle like that loss and be like, okay, well I lost, hopefully I can get a rematch or just like some shit, and just like walked away from it and be like, whatever, I fought like a fucking idiot, shit like that. I'll fight better next time, and like hire someone who will like actually put him through that like trench. Yeah, but instead he's just like getting all philosophical about it, all like sus, it was coming from me, dude. Like there's a certain level of like homosexuality that these guys just have, and that's okay. Like the fact that like Tristan is all, like all pink, and he's just smiling, and he's all dancing to the Heil Hitler song. It's just like the fruitiest thing you've ever seen in your entire life. And then like you hear about like people who like have like weird ass tastes in like the pornography, of the illicit type or non-illicit, etc., etc. And then you ask yourself this one question, and it's so, as a guy, you know what I mean? Like you think you'd be like past that stage at this point in time in this junction of your life, but you can't. You got to go back to it. You got to ask the big question: how much can you bench? Right? That's it. How much can you bench? These guys, they got a weak bench. You can tell. You can feel it. You can sense it. Like fucking sixth sense. Like the pain, the suffering that you'd want to or you need to endure to look the way you need to look in order for women to like you is ridiculous. Like nobody ever tells you this, right? But in order to get like a 6-pack or an 8-pack, depending on your genetics, you need to get down to a certain level of body fat and then stay there for a significant amount of time. So like at least a month and a half for your skin to, like in my case, my skin is stretched a little bit. So like on the bottom part, it kind of drapes over it like a shitty ass apron or some shit like that. Apron skin is what I call it. Like if I like breathe or like if I suck my gut in, like yeah, it shows. But then like because I was looking that long for basically most of my life, if not all my life, right? Um, it's a responsibility that I have to you know what I mean? Like I have to acknowledge, right? And when it comes to like just the like obsession of guys over girls and how it's like it ruins you because like either you go down the path of Andrew Tate where you're on a bunch of fake ass shit and you don't even like women after that because you realize that you're not only you're disingenuous, you're dishonest, but like much like clavicular, well the clavicular just like talks about it, which is weird. It's like you gotta like inject something in your fucking thing to get it up. I don't even know about shit like that. It's fucking scary, man. Look, if I knew like roids were like that, I'd be like, fuck. I'd be like, yo, like the cat in the that Looney Tunes thing where it's like running away from the skunk. I'll be like running away from steroids like that. It's like, yo, you want to do some roids? I just like fucking bolt out the fucking thing. My face turns all pale white. My eyes just like detonate. All right, man. Take care, everybody, and remember, embrace the pain.